Hey guys, what's happening? So let's talk some more Old Man Logan, and what very much might be the end of Old Man Logan as we know him. And if there's anything to be known about your younger Logan or your Old Man Logan, we know that 1, he's not going out without a fight, and 2, if he does, he'll literally give everything he has until there's nothing left. So let's get into it. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to catch the spills every week, and don't forget to hit that bell up top so you can squat up in the comments for the first hour. Alright, so the story of Old Man Logan has been coming to a close for a little while now, and we've been following Old Man Logan from our James Hudson Jr. playlist because that's where we mainly talked about the different characters coming from their different universes, going into Secret Wars, and all of them really being consolidated into the one main universe, only to find out that the other universes still exist. But it worked out because it kind of cleaned everything up, and it made the main characters that we follow a bit easier to follow. And I'm not gonna front, out of those universes, I'm very glad that the 1610 is still out there. And I did a video on that a while back, so you can check that out if you like. But as far as Old Man Logan, we've talked about his journey from Earth 807-128, and upon his arrival, him seeing our main Wolverine already dead. And at that time, Old Man Logan was dealing more with your X-Men Gold team, but in our talks, we focused much more about his run with Team Weapon X, and that coming together right in the middle of your Weapons of Mutant Destruction, and the introduction of Weapon H. But even with that team coming together, there's always been this constant friction between Wolverine and Sabretooth. And initially you might think, okay, like what else is new? Because on the surface, it kind of seemed like something we had seen all the time. But instead, it was more so the setting up of a transition to where Old Man Logan would step down and Sabretooth would actually step up to the leader position of Team Weapon X. And of course, Warpath wasn't too happy about that. But Old Man Logan stepping down was just the beginning or the first step to the new era of where this team is going, along with the addition of other members like Mystique and also Omega Red, and this I'll get into more depth about in another video. But in my Return to Wolverine video, we have already started our talks when I did a breakdown of how Omega Red had returned from the dead and ended up joining the team, with some much needed help from Lady Deathstrike. And those links will be down in the description for anybody who needs to catch up or tie any pieces together. And the only parts we haven't covered yet are more so your Mystique coming back, because we talked about her more so during the Wolverine series, because her role and her connection to Destiny are pretty critical in that series that sits between your Death of Wolverine and the Hunt for Wolverine. So definitely look out for that when we have more talks about Team Weapon X Force, which will be pulling from X-Men Gold, Wolverine's Weapon H, and possibly some more Wolverine origins. But as I was saying, with Old Man Logan, with him being older and his healing factor diminishing, that was one of the things that caused him to step away from Weapon X, as well as the X-Men Gold team. And as a result, this caused him to go to a familiar place, and this is what brings him to Tokyo. And even though he's not here looking for trouble, he's Old Man Logan. And for that reason alone, at some point in time, trouble is going to find him. And at this point in time, just walking down the street, he sees a guy thrown out of a bar. And this was really just the result of a local gang called the Crazy Thunder Clan, who just didn't want to pay for drinks because they pretty much do their dealings in that area. So as a result, they figure they own the block, and they believe everything in their block, in their area, on their territory, to them should be free. And so as far as Old Man Logan initially trying to solve it peacefully, which never works because he's Logan, but he tried to resolve it peacefully by buying their drinks for them because he's guapped up like that. Nah, not really, but it ends up breaking into a fight, and while he's fighting these guys, he realizes that they actually have a healing factor, and theirs is working better than his. Like, they healing, and Old Man Logan's chopping off arms, phalanges, everything, and it didn't really matter how quick he was cutting things off, they were just growing right back. But it was while fighting these guys that he discovered that they were given this healing factor through a drug called Region X, and he was able to eventually take them down after discovering the drug got weaker when the host is exposed to colder temperatures. But getting into that brawl just caused Old Man Logan to investigate more and find out who was making Region X and how these guys were getting their hands on it, and this caused him to cross paths with Tomishi Shido, also known as Gorgon, who was accompanied by the Scarlet Samurai. And it's at this time where the two of them pretty much ambush Logan on his investigation, and the Scarlet Samurai cuts off Logan's hand, and we find out how this is possible when she removes her mask, revealing that she is Mariko Yoshida, the half-sister of the Silver Samurai. But instead of killing Old Man Logan, she had let him live because she had recognized Logan from memories of her past, and it was because of that she gave him the opportunity to get away. And during the time of his recovery, he's approached by Shingen Harada, who we had talked about briefly in one of our first discussions on the War of Realms when we talked about Dario Agger and his deal with Malekith, and where Dario Agger was like, okay, out of the deal with taking the 10 realms, Midgard's supposed to be his, and he's not splitting it with anybody at the round table. And Shingen was one of the first people who was like, okay, I accept your challenge and I ain't having that. And in that situation, things pretty much went left from there. But in this instance, Shingen sought out Old Man Logan in order to infiltrate the hand and shut down their production of Region X. And initially, like when this drug was manufactured, it wasn't made for the purpose that it had reached to this point, because originally it was just made to help people recover from serious injury, but later when it got into the hands of the hand, or in the hand, they kind of figured it could be used for a lot more. But as far as the whole ordeal with Mariko Yoshida, the Scarlet Samurai, when Old Man Logan and the second Silver Surfer went to go shut down production, she attempted to stop them, nearly killing Old Man Logan once again, but in order to stop her and do so without killing her, he injected her with nanites in order to break the hand's control over her. And just as a reminder for what we talked about in the Omega Red video, because the whole nanites mind control thing is pretty similar, but in this implementation, when you get into your mind control kind of territory, being injected with nanites is pretty painful. Because if Omega Red was in pain, just imagine what little Mariko was going through. But because he had did this as in like a favor to Old Man Logan and not killing her, as a gesture or in a way to return the favor, Old Man Logan later went with the new Silver Samurai to Madripoor to help him destroy the additional rogue shipments. But before Old Man Logan had returned to the US, Mariko had given him a last sample of Region X before he departed, kind of as a token of appreciation for him helping out while he was there. And as far as the reason for Logan returning back to the States, it very much tied into at this current time with Wilson Fisk using his influence to put a complete halt on all vigilantes operating in New York, which was really just his device on getting people out of his way, so no heroes could really stop him from doing what he wanted to do. And at this time with Wilson Fisk becoming mayor and using his influence to put this into action, it pretty much moved Daredevil, the Avengers, and the X-Men out of the picture. But for Old Man Logan, who's pretty much Old Man Logan all the time, he ended up taking on Wilson Fisk, who was using Bullseye to handle his dirty work, which at the end of the day really just boiled down to him getting back a letter from Vanessa, which was the last thing he really had to hold on to. And not a letter, my bad, it was some pictures. It was a flash drive with some pictures of the best moments of him and his wife, which was pretty crazy. But it's kind of funny at the same time too, because when Old Man Logan gets down to the bottom of it and he's pretty much ready to kill the mayor Wilson Fisk, they kind of had this talk that very much reminded me of the Daredevil season 3. Wilson Fisk, who's always like, I'm gonna tell you a story when I was a boy. And that's how we find out what it was all about. But Wolverine's forced to walk away because if he didn't, more people would likely be killed, and Sarah as a reporter would have her life and career just destroyed on top of her physical injury as a result, which causes Old Man Logan to walk away and brings us to the return of Maestro, who at this point is relatively close to Wolverine coming out of New York. And at this point when he returns, Maestro is in Fort Wells, Canada, which is where he's decided to build and expand his kingdom. And a lot of this really ties with your Future Imperfect, because once again we get a lot of those callbacks as well, with him using the device he got from Doom to travel through time and alternate dimensions as well. But with Logan passing through here and getting taken in rather easily by Maestro's men, who he let take them so he can get closer to Maestro once he figured out what was going on. But when he gets close to Maestro so he can get like his round 2, at this moment he knew. At this moment, Old Man Logan knew that he had messed up, because since their last fight, Logan describes the experience as if Maestro has gotten stronger while he's gotten weaker, and the fight is just a wash. Like, Old Man Logan is shamefully beaten to a pulp in the middle of the streets and is just thrown away afterwards like some garbage, like just a piece of trash. But when he finally comes to, he makes his way back, and through the course of that time, he does get apprehended by the locals who are working for Maestro, and from there he's helped by some others who have revolted against Maestro, who help him escape. And it's pretty crazy because some of them even get killed trying to help Old Man Logan get back to Maestro. But when he finally gets to Maestro, who at this point is carrying like public executions, so at this point for him, Old Man Logan getting shot and stumbling right in here just works for his advantage. But when Logan gets back here and he has his clothes back and everything, it's here that we're reminded that he still has that last sample of Region X that he was given by Mariko that he had planned to use as a last resort to take out Maestro instead of just trying to fight him like last time. But that didn't work out too well because Maestro kind of picked up that Old Man Logan was trying to distract him. So he smacks the mess out of him, causing him to lose the vial which he was finna use. But at this time, kind of coinciding with this story, you have a number of locals who are revolting, and some of the same people who helped Old Man Logan to go after Maestro again, who've come together to kind of distract Maestro so they can kind of get the vial and get it back to Old Man Logan. And it's pretty brave because those bullets ain't doing nothing to Maestro, and he could just smack them away and just crush everybody in seconds. But it works out because they're able to get it to Logan, giving him one last shot to go at Maestro with the intention of ending this once and for all. But keep in mind that this formula does not work well in cold conditions, and these guys are like in northwest Canada, so this doesn't help at all. But with Logan having this in his system, he's amped up and ready to go, but instead of fighting him, Maestro instead leads him away, telling Logan that he's tired of beating him up. And instead of beating him up, he's like, hey, I got a proposal for you. I got an offer for you. And his offer for him, like, instead of whooping his head again, he leads him to Dr. Doom's time machine, which is like, it goes between time and it also goes to your alternate realities. And he pretty much tells Old Man Logan, here, take this, go on about your way, be back with your wife, be back with your kids, so I can stay here in this reality, rule it, and this way it's like we both win. Cause it's like Maestro's saying, I ain't trying to go back and forth with you. I want to live my best life. And because since I beat you down all the time and you keep coming back, you know what I'm saying, why don't you just live your best life in another universe? But Logan refuses because at the end of the day, if he does that and he's reunited with his wife and his children, it's like he's still leaving the people here to be doomed. And when Old Man Logan refuses, Maestro destroys the machine. And I gotta say, on Maestro's part, this was a bit of an emotional move, man, because I feel like he just took it to the place to where, like, if he can't be happy, nobody can. And it's like, for Maestro, it's like, dude, you really in your feelings right now. But in the perspective of Old Man Logan, Maestro has just taken away from him the possibility of seeing his wife and his children again, which is hands down the biggest mistake Maestro has ever made. And not just the biggest, but the last. Because Old Man Logan, with the bone claw and the adamantium claw, takes Maestro's head, because even though Old Man Logan can no longer live his best life, he still ain't going back and forth. And he takes Maestro's head clean off, dude, like clean off. Well, not so clean, but off, ending Maestro. And with this being the conclusion of Old Man Logan, it's like it really takes you back to the original story before your second volume, with Old Man Logan's narrative ending with the death of the Hulk, in this case Maestro. But with Old Man Logan with the Region X still in his system, with the cold weather and combination of it wearing off, like the crash is crazy, which concludes this story with Old Man Logan just collapsing and is the lead up into Dead Man Logan, which I'm anticipating to be freaking crazy, because with everything we've seen kind of leading up into it, with Logan having all these flashbacks of his former life in his former universe, and I kind of feel like that story is going to take place in a bit of a dream state, but at this point in time we really don't know. But for whatever reason, I would really love to revisit that universe where Wolverine pretty much killed everybody. But either way, that'll do it for this one, guys. I do want to save for later my thoughts on Doom and his involvement with all this, and if you kind of want a taste of where I'm going with that, I'll leave a link to my the Hunt for Wolverine, Just Ask Old Man Logan video, and in that video I talk about Doom and his connection with Old Man Logan and all that. But either way, let me know your thoughts down in the comments and we'll do it again in the next one. All right, later.